Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. In today's video, I'll show you how you could create a melting text effect just like this. And in this video, we are just going to jump straight into Fusion, and I'll show you how you can create this from beginning to end and all of that good stuff. And if you stick around for the end of the video, there is a special bonus tip I'll share with you as well. So without further ado, let's just jump right into DaVinci Resolve and let's start to melt some text. Okay, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve, and I'm going to show you how to do this melting text effect. We'll start off by going up to the effects and then dragging down a Fusion composition and then just going into Fusion. In Fusion we have our media out. I'll add in a text node, connect that to the media out, going up to the inspector, and I'm just going to type in a text. I might want to change the font color and also want to change the font to something else. Let's take this one, and then I'm just going to make it like a big text on the screen, like so. So now I'm going to take in a fast noise, and if I push 1 on the keyboard with the fast noise selected, we can go up and see how that looks. And then if we go to the inspector, I'm going to check off the lock X and Y. And in the X scale, I'll put that to 20, and the U scale, I'll just put that to 0. So we have something like this. We'll then need to add in a displace node, and we do that by pushing Shift spacebar. And I'm going to type in this place, and it's right here. I'm going to add in my displace node. If, for instance, you were on the fast noise, it's going to connect that to the fast noise. However, I do not want to do that, so I'm going to push Shift and then just drag that off, go down into where I want to put my displace and just let go. I'll then connect my fast noise to my displace node, like that. And if I go into my displace, I can go up here and change the type from radical to X and Y, like that. And if I go into the U reflection, I can change that, as you see right here. And that's exactly what we are going to do. If I want to, for instance, make this look a little bit nicer, a little bit smoother, I can use the spread. So I can kind of make it whatever I want. So I'm going to bump it all the way up for now, at least 2, 3. And now I'll do a quick animation. So I'll go to the beginning keyframe, the first keyframe, and then I'll go into the Y refraction, and I'm going to bump that all the way down to -1. I'm going to put in a keyframe. Then, I'm just going to go a couple of frames forward, and then I'm going to put this at 0. And then again, I can keep this as long as I want. So let's say I want this to be at that keyframe to, let's say, 40. And then I'm going to put in another keyframe, going a couple of keyframes forward, and I'm going to push this all the way to the end here. So now we have a little animation doing something like that. However, I want my text here to be out of frame, but I want this to be off screen. So I'll go to the beginning keyframe here so I can see where it is. And then I'll go into the Y offset, and I'm going to bump this so it will be out of screen. So it's out of screen around here. And now it should come in, and then it should go out of screen like that. In fact, I want this to be totally out of screen like that. So now it should be okay. So this is the animation we have. We're not going to do anything more to the animation because it's not necessary for this tutorial, but of course you could make your animation way cooler than this. However, we are going to add in a merge node, and we're just going to drag a merge node from the toolbar selection here and add that in between the display and the media out. Selecting the merge node, all we're going to do in the merge node is to go into the operations, and we're going to change that from over to under. And we're just going to, again, hit Shift spacebar, and we are going to search for a duplicate node, which is right here. And we're going to add that into empty space and going to push 1 on the keyboard, so it's going to display what we're doing over here. And then we are just going to take our displace and drag that up to our duplicate. So we can see this is what we have. And then we can go into the number of copies and we can change that to, let's say, 20. And then in the offset, we are going to put that like minus something like that. And a pretty important thing to change here as well is the operations mode, because we're going to change that from over to under, like so. And if you then want to do some kind of a gradient to this, we can go into the blend, and then we can obviously go all the way back here, but that's not how much we want to do. Just a little bit. Gives it a look. Something like that. We are going to do some kind of a gradient, but we want to kind of smoothen out these lines here. And we do that by adding in a blur. And we're going to add in a Gaussian blur. I'm going to add that in, but we can make this look better yet. So we are going to add in, again, Shift spacebar, and we're going to type in matte. And we have here a matte control. I'm going to add in the matte control after the Gaussian blur. And in the matte control, it's super important to go into the post multiply image, check that off. And then we can just connect this to the merge node. And we can just push 1 on the keyboard with the matte selected. And in here, we are going to go to the contrast and expand. And the idea here is to make it look as good as possible. And then going into the threshold and changing that around, something like that. I think that's good. Then we'll go back to the duplicate here. And now we can change the number of copies. And the idea here is to make this look like a long line of text. And we can also play around with the offset a little bit here if we want to. But I think actually this was pretty good. So let's have a look here. We have the text coming in, melting in, and being on screen for a while and melting out. However, we can do a little bit more, I think. So let's jump back to the editing page. And here we can see our effect. You know, it's melting in and melting out. And then you can play around with the timing when you do the animation. But we want to do a little thing to our hello, our melting text hello. So I'm going to take my Fusion composition and drag that 1 layer up. And I'm going to change the background color. And I usually do that with a generator. So I'm going to take like solid color and I'm going to change that color of that into yellowish one. Let's just have a look at that. Pretty 80s like. So last thing to do is to give this some texture, and the way we could do that, it would be to go up to our media pool, and then you could download, for instance, one of the VHS packs I have on the store. The link will be down in the description. This one is from the overlay pack number 3, and there is like 25 different VHS overlays. I'm just going to take like a random one. Let's take this one. It's really a smashed one. And just going to make the clip fit, and this is just overlays. So the way overlays works is we're just going to select the overlay, and we are going into the composite mode, and I'm just going to change that from normal into screen. And then we have this VHS effect overlay on top of our text. And this is just one way to apply texture to our melting text effect. Pretty fast and pretty easy using the Fusion page and the overlay effects from the Duke Denver Film store. If you're interested, again, link will be down in the description. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.